Hello Internet, what's going on? I'm Ricardo, the Cynical Critic, here with the last episode of Volume 3. And you know what? I'm not interested in going over the recap. Not after what happened last time. So fuck it, I'm done with the review.
Oh, come on, man!
Oh, fuck you, man. I'm not going through it again.
Cool. Then I get to do the recap for once.
Fine with me, but I'm not doing anything until I'm done with this bucket.
Whatever you say, fatty.
Fuck you.
Alright, guys, it's up to me. Ready your anuses and let's do this shit. In the last episode, well, damn, everything went to shit faster than after Peru loses a soccer game. Though there was probably less fatalities. And one fatality I'm still a little iffy on is Roman. I mean, what the hell, man? It's one thing killing off one of the coolest cats in RWBY, but did you have to make little Neo an orphan? What's my motto, people? Make my waifu cry, and you deserve to die. Well, I guess Roosterteeth still has a death wish. As with everything going to shit, they decided to fuck with even more of my girls. And it's all that goat-headed, katana-wielding, punk-ass bitch's Adam's fault. For some dumb reason, Blake decides to talk to him, when she should have just kicked him in the balls and stayed with the girlfriend she dumped his dumb ass for. I guess he didn't like that, cause that motherfucker decides that if he can't have the Blakey booty, then no one can.
Sleep in fear, Roosterteeth.
And with more and more things going to shit, Husband thinks that it's the best time to transfer the Fall Babe's powers to the Pyrrha waifu. I mean, sure, the robot army was taken care of thanks to RWBY and the grilled Roman, but the dumbass decides that all the security he needs is this other dumbass. No shit, Autumn was gonna end up deader than she currently was. And now Cinder is about to face off against the old man. Fuck. You know what? I'm with you, Ricardo. I'm not looking forward to how all this ends.
Well, I just ate half my weight in junk food, so I should be good for another 2-3 minutes. Let's get this over with. Lakanen, do what you do, man.
Fuck your ever-changing, highly entertaining, extremely plot-revealing clip. We return to the show that ripped my heart out and raped it before my very eyes to see explosions, colors, excitement! Turns out Osmond is pretty sprightly for his age. But Roosterteeth's not done fucking with us, as instead of continuing to show us this epic death battle, we cut to Beacon's airstrip, where we see the students being evacuated.
This is a mandatory evacuation.
A safe zone has been established in Vale.
You mean the city that's currently under siege from Grimm? Yeah, totally safe. Well, RWBY finally makes it back to Weiss and...
RWBY, where are you? Don't worry, I'm fine. What's going on?
I'm sorry.
And I'm going to need another few hours.
Yang.
Sun informs RWBY that Yang will be fine. No, she's not, you insensitive ape! And that they need to evacuate. However, with Pyrrha and Jaune still absent, RWBY says that she needs to find her friends, and Weiss agrees to go with her.
White Rose confirmed.
Dude, seriously?
Sorry, I know, inappropriate moment. Just force of habit.
Back with Team Arkos, the two are halted in their retreat at the sign of Cinder falling with style. Pyrrha proclaims that she must stop her, but before Jaune can protest that there isn't any reason, like, none whatsoever, for her to do so, we get something that the fans have been waiting 3 volumes for. Just before she cardons him. Women. Yet. Just can't fucking understand them. Well, she should have taken his phone too, because the blonde boy wonder calls upon his side chick to stop his waifu. We then cut to Cinder cooing over her new dog, when she is interrupted by the elevator.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
That door.
And as you might expect, we get a pretty epic but swift battle between the waifus, because as great as Pyrrha is, this fight is not controlled by the fans. Thank God, otherwise this would end with Cinder dies and the girls have a naked pillow fight.
And it would be worth it!
But yeah, no. Pyrrha quickly finds out that she really isn't much of a match for someone with magical powers. I mean, I know Roosterteeth showed Autumn getting her butt kicked in two. Come on, sweetheart, you saw this woman. Even Aspen told you that you weren't a match for her. So while your waifu puts up a courageous fight, the entire third act of this volume pretty much told us that things were going to go down in a way that we didn't like.
Talk about taking your character inspiration literally.
Well, at that moment, Ruby and Weiss realize that only one of them can make it. So we get a call back from Volume 1 as Cinder revels in her victory.
It's unfortunate you were promised a power that was never truly yours. But take comfort in knowing that I will use it in ways you could never have imagined.
Do you believe in destiny?
Yes.
Well, judging by how often Roosterteeth succumbs to cliche, I think we can all guess what's gonna happen next.
Pyrrha is severely injured. Ruby leaps in at the last moment to save her. Some bullshit happens. They make it out, but Cinder still wins, and the group have to escape all Empire Strikes Back style. We even have one of them with a right arm severed off.
Sleep in fear, Roosterteeth.
So yeah, that'd be pretty sweet if she got a cool robotic replacement. Just hopefully we don't get the awkward kissing sibling scene.
Roosterteeth, I would pay good money for that.
Well, let's roll the clip and get this over with. Ah, man, that looked like it hurt.
And yep, at that moment, Ruby pops in.
Alright, Ruby, you know what to do. Get in there and... Oh, sweet Jesus, she got vaporized!
Oh, she's dead! Oh, she's dead, man! There ain't no coming back from that! She's fucking dead! Ruby, don't do it! Ruby, it's not worth it! Ruby, don't!
Oh, shit! You did the Vader no and ruined the moment! What the fuck is happening?!
Ruby? Other Ruby? Hello? Did the show just pass out? Did I pass out? Let me check. Yep, the show just made me pass out from shock. And yet I'm still narrating. That's how good I am, ladies. Eventually, we return to Ruby rousing from her coma to find her father asleep in the chair next to her. At seeing her awake, he informs her that Crow found her unconscious and brought her home. He also tells her that Yang is okay too, though she may need some time to adjust. Ruby then asks one of the school and finds out that Vale has mostly been cleared, though Beacon is still surrounded, as while she did do a number on the dragon, it isn't moving or disappearing. It's sort of frozen, but still attracting Grimm.
I did what? You said I did a number on it. What do you mean?
That's not important right now. We can talk about it later. Things are just kind of a mess.
It's always a mess.
Well, Crow then asks for a moment alone with Ruby, and though reluctant to leave his daughter with the man that everyone fantasizes her with, Tai Yang leaves the room.
So, how you feeling?
Not good, man. My robo-waifu broke, my charismatic villain got eaten, the high school dynamic that I was going for is fucked, one of my main characters lost an arm, Pyrrha got fucking vaporized, and everything's going to shit!
Sweet Jesus!
Crow then asks Ruby what was the last thing she remembered, causing Red to ask what happened to Pyrrha, and Crow says she's dead, man, she's fucking dead.
I got to the top, and I saw Pyrrha and Cinder.
Wait, what?
And Cinder.
When did you learn her name?
Yeah, as far as I could tell, Ruby never heard who Cinder was called. John told her that Pyrrha had chased after some lady, but that was it. And I doubt she used her real name while undercover. Though, the other two did, so it's possible that she did as well. God, Cinder and Roosterteeth are fucking stupid. Well, Ruby then says that everything went white.
The night you met Ozpin, what was the first thing he said to you? Silver eyes. That's an extremely rare trait.
So, Crow's telling her that she's special?
I don't want to be the bee's knees, okay? I don't want to be any kind of knees. I just want to be a normal girl with normal knees.
You're special, Ruby.
Well, sucks to be you!
Yeah, it turns out she's special, like her mother. And Crow goes on explaining that Remnant has many stories and legends, most made up, but one spoke about people with silver eyes destined to become great warriors. That by a single look, they could strike down a Grimm, or petrify it like the dragon on top of Beacon. He goes on saying that all the missions he's been doing lately were for Ozpin, but the old geezer has gone missing. Yeah, I think you mean dead. Like Pyrrha.
Sweet Jesus.
Something's been set in motion. With Oz gone, I'll have to pick up where he left off.
Then what can I do? I can help.
If you really want to help, get some rest. Besides, Our enemy's trail leads all the way to Haven. That'd be quite a trip for a pipsqueak like you.
Look who's talking, Shorty!
Don't.
I know. Don't call you little.
Catch you later, kiddo.
And with Crow gone, Ruby decides to go see her sister and... Oh god, this is fucking depressing.
I'm so glad you're okay.
But I'm not.
Yang explains that it's all gone. The school, Penny, Pyrrha, and... well... fuck. She continues saying that no one outside of Vale knows the truth about the attack, thinking that it was all Atlas's fault. And Weiss and Blake are gone too, with Weiss being taken home by her father, and Blake...
And Blake ran. After we got to the city, she just ran.
But why?
I don't know. And I don't care.
Yang,
Just leave me alone.
I love you.
I'm gonna go cry in the corner.
Well, sometime later, we come across Ruby leaving her house, where we see that she, Jaune, Ren, and Nora are going to Haven, determined to find some answers.
A smaller...
Holy crap! Haven't heard from her in a while. Anyways, Cortana here explains that yes, hope is a powerful strength of man, as it can start from a single spark. Which is why she will snuff that out first. Yeah, it turns out we're dealing with Halo 5's Cortana after she went all bonkers on Our Lady moment. Because she continues saying that all of Ozpin's hopes, guardians, and faith in mankind was for naught. That while they are strong, banded together against the common enemy, when they are divided and doubt infects their minds, mankind can be blown away. Kinda like Pyrrha. Sure, they won't go quietly, they'll fight. But all of this is just the beginning pains of the war to come.
So you send your guardians, your huntsmen and huntresses, and when they fail and you turn to your smaller soul, know that you send her to the same pitiful demise. This is the beginning of the end, Ozpin. And I can't wait to watch you burn.
God, is this gonna happen every time?
Who the hell are these three? Piss off! Who's this goddamn cunt? Watch the trailer, you dumbass. Who the fucking shit-headed cuckoo crutch is this stupid pissy-ass bragging mother? God damn it, we told ya! Fuck off, wanker!
Well, two can play at that game!
God damn it, Roosterteeth!
Anyways, yeah, we again get some really long credits. I timed it. It's 5 minutes and 30 goddamn seconds. Twice as long as the previous one.
Holy piss buckets!
When will they learn that most of us don't give a shit about who made it? Just get to the damn end credit scene so I can leave. Well, I guess Roosterteeth is smarter than I give him credit for, because the credits end on something that blows away all the anger and confusion. Son of a bitch. We really do love you, Monty, and we miss you. And as it turns out, the end credits is Crow on a cliff overlooking the Fellowship of the RWBY, and as he looks at Ozpin's cane, he... No, Crow, don't do it. No, think about Ruby. She needs you. Don't jump!
Ah, Crow! Why? You didn't have to do it, man! You had so much to live for! Oh, God, Roosterteeth, you killed him too! Oh, and his body hitting the ground caused the crow to fly away! Oh, the irony!
Crow's not dead, you dumbass. He's the crow flying away.
Really? Oh. Weird. But I guess it's just his semblance or whatever. Also weird you haven't spoken to now.
Because in my silence I've been pondering upon the events that have just occurred, mulling over what they have done to me. I congratulate you, Roosterteeth. I'm not one easily hurt. My armor not easily phased. My heart not easily broken. But you did the impossible. Your spear pierced deep into my chest plate and severed my heart in two. You toyed with those I loved like they were nothing but playthings whose suffering amused you. Well, I am not amused. You've had your fun, but it's all fun and games. Until you go too far. until you hurt them too much. Destroyed my penny pal, orphaned my little Neo, mutilated my Yang, and now you have taken my Pyrrha away forever. Well, I hope it was worth it. For when the skies are set aflame, when the sea boils with acid, when the sun turns to black and the moon shines crimson, when birds fall like rain, when dogs and cats lie in love, when the very air stinks of death, when your beautiful state is blown away like dust in a hurricane, then you may plead to the heavens for salvation. Fall to your knees in tears of blood. Tear your garments in anguish. Beg for mercy. I will hear your cries, and I will smile as you and all you love burn.
Well, that's good to know.
Insensitive motherfucker, you will be the first to feel my wrath.
Sorry, but I don't swing that way. But holy crap, was that an excellent way to end the volume! Excluding the end of Pyrrha, of course. Sort of.
There are several things that many say that make this volume the best in the series so far. And while that's technically wrong, yet each has his own thing that makes it great, I will go over something that has made this volume definitely superior to the previous ones. Even though it's been here since the beginning, just slightly hidden for reasons that don't entirely justify its absence, many do agree that the plot finally began to take a bigger role in the story. The complaints that I and many others have had about the plot barely getting any screen time still stand, as they could have delivered what they did in a better way, but there was sort of a reason for it needing to be pushed in the background. As I've said, we see this world through the eyes of our characters. What plot we are shown is what is revealed to our mains. Most plot-based stories involve us into the narrative by centering the focus around our main character or by pushing our protagonist into the situation. RWBY is slightly different, as it goes for a more experimental way of telling us the plot that is sort of ingenious, Monty.
Shit! For once you praise the man! You may yet survive my wrath.
The reason Volume 1 had almost no plot to it was because none of our girls knew anything about it. Instead, the season's main focus was working on each of the characters and them as a team. It wasn't until Blake discovered that the White Fang were working for Roman that we were made aware of our villains. And even then, as we saw with the late entry of Cinder, it was kept to a simple scheme of a con man. In Volume 2, we were given more plot, but overall it was still mellowed down, as all the girls knew was that Roman was some baddie using the White Fang to do his dirty work. At the end of the day, the volume's main goal was working on the characters, their past, and their relationships. And in the finale, all things seemed to go back to the status quo, because Roman was the only villain that they knew of, and he was locked up. It wasn't until midway through the third volume that we finally got some of the much desired plot. Not really justifiable, as we had to wait so long, but again, Team RWBY didn't know, as again, the only villain that they were aware of was behind bars. We're led to believe that there was something bigger going on, which is why it's such a disappointment that the writers couldn't reveal more of that to us beforehand. But our girls were still in the dark, so we were mostly left in the dark. Till Cinder made her move, the volume continued to focus on the characters, but this time it was their involvement in the world. Because that is what RWBY has always been about, even in later seasons. About the characters. The action, the cool visuals, the story, it's all great to have, but it's all meaningless noise and spectacle without good characters to follow along with. And Monty understood that. You can remember how great a story was, but it's the characters that shape our lives. Just look at other popular fiction out there. It wasn't the hostile alien conflict that got us involved in Halo, it was the character and relationship between Chief and Cortana. It wasn't the incredible story of science and schemes that got us to love Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, it was Edward, Alphonse, and the rest of the amazing cast. And it wasn't seeing our favorite heroes on the big screen that made Marvel such a powerhouse. It was how they felt so human and real that I doubt any of us can look at these actors the same way again.
Definitely not in the case of DC. Oh, Starfire, what have they done to you? And if any of you call me a racist because I don't like it how she went from a $1,000 hooker to a $3 stripper, then get the lotion because I'm about to go all Buffalo Bill on your fat ass.
I'm not really associated with him. Please don't flag my channel. But speaking about stupid things done simply to slay the desires of the writers, let's talk about Pyrrha's death. Oh, quit your whining, you bunch of babies. It happened years ago. It's not too soon to talk about how monumentally stupid it was.
Be careful. This is my waifu you're talking about.
Not her death, per se, as that was actually pretty good and a bold move on their part. No, it was the reasons that led up to it.
Why on God's green earth did Pyrrha have to chase after Cinder? It makes no sense and definitely doesn't fit with her personality or intelligence, and holds no grounds to the numerous of things that she could have done. Sure, she was told that she needs to save the world. But as great as she is, even Osmond said that she and Jaune,
So basically just she?
were no match against Cinder now that she had the Fall Maiden's powers. Why would that have changed? Probably a script error here, because I feel what would have worked better would have been upon seeing that he was out of danger, Pyrrha had launched Jaune away to keep him safe and run back inside to help Osmond, only for then to realize that she was too late. Osmond had lost. The former just leaves the audience asking if she has some sort of messiah complex, as what was done, and now she is on even less equal footing with Cinder. But the latter at least lends to the notion that her mind was already made up. So if she couldn't help the wizard, perhaps she could avenge him.
However, that's a small nitpick, as the following events pierce deeply into our hearts, along with Pyrrha's.
It was just something that almost none of us believed that Roosterteeth had the balls to do. Kill off one of the most popular and beloved characters of the show, a key member in the secondary team, and probably one of the best voice actors in the series that isn't part of the mainstream. And the even more unbelievable thing is that Monty Ohm, the creator himself of this wonderful show, planned this from the very start.
What? Monty, how could you?
Yep, this wasn't a decision that Miles and Carrie made after his passing. It was them honoring the creator's choice to have Pyrrha Nikos, arguably the second most favorite character of the show, die. And I love it.
Hold your fucking horses and let me explain before you make yourselves look like complete idiots!
The reason I feel that this was warranted and not forced was because of what it said. Penny's death was a very arbitrary thing, as being a robot, we don't know whether or not she died, as it depends on how stupid Roosterteeth, or in some cases the fans, are. Roman's death may have left us shocked, but he was a villain, and again, we're not 100% sure if he really is dead. No body, no guarantee. But there's no other way around it here. Pyrrha is dead, and there is no way she is coming back.
Well...
Unless we go with the popular fanfiction idea of her returning as some sort of grim zombie hybrid. That is so unbelievably stupid that I can't believe that people actually think that this would be a good idea.
Oh, thank God. I'm not the only one. Please don't do this to my waifu. Just let her rest in peace.
Well, more like pieces.
And now, you're back on my shit list.
No, Pyrrha's dead. Leave it at that. Again, unlike with Penny, here it would cheapen it if they brought her back in any way. And worse, it would cheapen the effect that it had on both the story and our characters. One of the strongest fighters, the best among them, their friend and love of their life. Gone. Forever. It sets down the notion once and for all that anyone, except for our main characters of course, have no guarantees of making it through this alive. And even with our main girls, there's still no assurances that they will make it in one piece, as we saw with Yang. I'll repeat it, but we were told about this from the very beginning. It's just now that we're becoming aware of the threat, because now our characters have become aware of the war. Thanks to Pyrrha's death, the idea that this was just going to be another happy-go-lucky anime where our characters struggle but ultimately triumph has been blown away with the ashes of your best girl. And let's talk about her killer, for I think Roosterteeth has finally made her a really interesting character.
Are you seriously praising that fucking whore? You're dead to me.
And yet, you still mooch off my internet.
I have to. I need my daily intake of hentai.
But anyways...
I know it's an unpopular opinion, as many other reviewers like to post her as the worst thing to happen to RWBY. Though I'm pretty sure I know why they say that. But again, if you look beneath her exterior and past her epic chest shot, you will see something to the contrary. From the beginning, we could tell that she loved being the one in charge, loved using people, and loved having power over them. And it seems it may stem from an event in her life where she was the one powerless and used. Doesn't it seem a little weird that she doesn't seek out major powers or high count killers to join her, but rather she takes Emerald and Mercury under her wing? People who have been hurt by this world as well. She understands their pain and sympathizes with their plight. She, with the help of her mistress, will make this world a better place. A place where the powerless will never be hurt again. I mean, just listen to her response to Pyrrha's "Do you believe in destiny?" quote.
Yes.
That's the response of someone who doesn't care and just wants the world to feel the same pain she has, and has found someone who can make that happen. Now, there's not much anyone can say about this new character, as we only heard slight things from Krog explaining that she was the one pulling the strings and creating horrors that were fear itself. It doesn't really make things worse not knowing much about her, but it really doesn't make things much better. True, we always knew that there was someone bigger and badder commanding these chess pieces, and while it might have been nice to have a few more instances of her appearance in the series up till now, it really doesn't change much here, because she's not the main focus. Cinder is.
Now, this is not to say that you need to feel sympathy for Cinder. If you don't, no hard feelings.
Good, because I still hate her and there's nothing you can change about that. That's not fair.
But there is something that we can feel sympathy for, or at the very least on the behalf of the people of Remnant. The Grimm.
Not sympathy that they are misunderstood innocent creatures, but that they are simply misunderstood. No doubt they have some level of intelligence, as all non-sentient creatures do, but the saying goes, call something a monster long enough, and you will see it as nothing else. This works on two levels here, as, yes, it means that there's more to them than simple destruction, but also because people are seeing them as nothing but mindless monsters, and thus, they have become desensitized to what they really are. We see this with RWBY's bookshelf of Beowulf miniatures. They have become so complacent in the cities that they have forgotten the fear that the Grimm command. These beasts are hell-bent on your destruction, and yet you treat them like any other creature, creating toys and products like they are lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. The Cedars were safe. Too safe, for it led to them seeing the Grimm as nothing more than just a slight hazard that was easily dealt with by the huntsman. I wouldn't call the Grimm sentient, which is why people don't see them as a danger. They think they have them pegged. But unlike a sentient race that you can talk to and change their minds, the Grimm will always seek the destruction of man, for it is in their nature, and with no will, they have no way of choosing against it.
Now enough talk about the beasts and their beauty, and let's instead turn to the beauty and the beast. That is to say, the beauty of Yang and Blake's relationship, and the beast that the Bumblebee shippers have become.
And here we go.
It's funny how something that was just an interesting pastime of pairing up characters we thought might work well in an in-canon relationship has turned into a cringy and sometimes downright depressing topic. And it has nothing to do with the subject, but like so many other things out there, it's how religiously devoted some are becoming to their ships. I wish I could say that it's only one or two Bumblebee shippers that are getting this way, but sadly there are a lot of them, no way a majority, but still, out there that say that Roosterteeth better make this a thing or they will hate RWBY and brand them as defilers of Monty's dream. God, they're starting to sound like people who push for diversity in comic book heroes. Sorry to get preachy, but I am a Christian. And if your love for an idea or ship outweighs, even by a little, your love for people or the story, then you don't deserve to have your voice heard or to take part in any critiquing of the show.
Not like that will stop us forever. The bumblebee shall fly.
Hopefully this will be the end of it. Probably not, because nothing less than a silver bullet in your brain and a full-blown exorcism on your dumbass will persuade you of your ship. But let me again remind you of some things that Monty gave us that will put Yang's tear-jerking scene into some context. Starting, of course, with everybody's favorite pussycat. Remember, we've been told and shown time and time again that she cannot easily handle emotional conflicts. It has driven her from her home, from her mentor, from her friends, to exhausting herself, to getting her team into some serious trouble, to nearly breaking her friend's heart by partially believing that she was guilty, to getting said friend's arm cut off, and now by running away from everyone. And of course she ran! She's the reason that Yang is gonna have to learn to be a lefty. The demons of handwriting and politics. She didn't even try to avenge Yang, and she was once part and powerfully devoted to the organization that has set Beacon and Vale ablaze. Not to mention that she was also in love with a man that cut Yang's arm off. She blames herself for all of that, and arguably rightly so. And whether or not the others would forgive her, she can't bring herself to confronting them. It's just so much easier to leave. Which doesn't help the matter, as now Yang has been abandoned. Again. First her biomother leaves her, then her stepmother is taken, and then her father shuts down, leaving her to be a mother to a likely frightened and confused RWBY, despite being so young herself. And she just lost an arm trying to defend Blake, only to have her run off again. No goodbye, no apology, that she was conscious for, just gone. Like everyone else she's needed. This is why assumptions can be a dangerous thing to hold on to, because if you go into a scene like this thinking that there's some unspoken love between these two, then of course you're gonna see it as a broken heart pining for that pussy. It's not dirty, I'm talking about a cat. But the difference between that and the other option they are so desperate to ignore is that at the end of the day we have to put assumptions and personal opinions aside and work with what we're given. And the reason I'm getting so frustrated about this is
Cause you're a bumblebee hater.
Not now!
Sorry, again, force of habit.
the reason I've gone from believing that this ship was interesting to hating its very conception is because we get absolutely beautiful scenes like this of character and emotion, only to have it tainted and ruined by people jumping up and declaring their ship to be suddenly canon, like they think that the writers are dropping hints but were secretly ashamed of coming out yet.
No, you're the ones ashamed. And newsflash, nobody cares anymore, and I wish the same for this ship.
Because this scene was heartbreaking, and it would only make it worse to know that the relationship was made, not because the characters and their interactions naturally drew to that conclusion, but instead it was just to appease a small fan base. Yang is upset because she has been abandoned too many times now, and this time she lost more than just someone she loved. Blake ran because she blames herself and wishes to simply forget this, to leave it all behind.
And to cement the breaking up of the team named after the show, Weiss too has left as well, taken back home by her father, the Lorax. He speaks for the Schnees.
Oh god, that was awful.
Yes, but it's in my contract with the Satan of the internet that I quote means whenever possible. Just ask Noble-san, he knows this all too well.
However, again, it's interesting that they're breaking up the teams, as it reaffirms that brokenness that we feel, reinforcing the reality that things have drastically, irreversibly changed. There will be no more school, there will be no more happy days with friends, and there is nowhere that is safe. All of that was blown away with Pyrrha's ashes.
Count thy days, you sellouts. As you took Pyrrha from me and RWBY from YouTube, I too shall take all that you love.
Now while the teams are splitting up, something else has come together. RWBY's role as the protagonist. I still agree with many that waiting so long to bring her to the center of this tale was a little off-putting. However, she's kind of been here the whole time, just not as visible as we wanted.
It was she that realized that Roman was up to something, causing her to reveal to Osmond that there was still a silver-eyed warrior left in the world. It was because of she that Yang was able to feel free as RWBY began to stand on her own. It was she that helped Weiss to open up, who in turn opened Blake up, who up until then had been rather quiet and inactive in the story. It was she that encouraged Jaune to be the leader that his team needed, which helped him to form a relationship with Pyrrha. It was because of her that Penny was able to find a real connection in this world, and in doing so feel like a real person herself. It was her moping that got Yang to help Blake, who relaxed and opened herself up to Sun. It was RWBY that confronted Cinder, which led to her team's self-reflection by firelight and to putting an end to Roman's scheme. It was she that discovered that Mercury and Emerald were enemies. It was she that rallied the students and led the charge to defend their home. It was she that put an end to Roman's other scheme, which gave everyone the fighting chance they needed. And it was she that bore witness to the turn of the tide, which awakened her both to the horrors that had always been, as well as to her unknown powers. And let's talk about those powers, because they kind of come out of nowhere, which then turns this into a terrible moment. Am I right? I mean, a character getting unknown superhuman powers out of the blue because suddenly their inert natural abilities were awoken, or some other Deus Ex Machina? It's utter garbage and doesn't make any sense. Well, I guess Attack on Titan is a terrible show now. Damn, I really like that one. Along with My Hero Academia and One Punch Man? Oh yeah, that show's shit now because its protagonist suddenly became Superman without the lack of personality. And Naruto's shit too, because it dragged on to the point where they got fed up and had to reboot it. Hell, more than 3/4 of all anime is shit, though that's for unrelated reasons.
I guess this is where the RWBY show dies because one of its characters suddenly got superpowers and that's somehow stupid. Is my sarcasm getting through?
Okay, I guess you get the point now. It isn't bad to have this happen in the story. Like anything, it's how it's handled. And to be honest, the only real problem with this is that they didn't show us any sign that there were people like this before this scene. Except for the very beginning. The character ability and consistency really doesn't work here because of how well it worked with the build-up and climax build-up of the end of the volume's third act. Again, I would have to say that it's sort of experimental, as it does its job by setting RWBY up as someone who doesn't care about being special and doesn't even want to be special, but instead cares about helping people. That's what her character has always been, the true aspect of a hero, which is why it's sort of glossed over both times it's brought up. And while before it was used to set something up that there might be more to RWBY than meets the eye, here it is used as a way to confirm to her that it is time for her to step up and be the huntsman, the hero that she needs to be. It's time for her to take the stage. RWBY has always been centered to the story by being the one that pushed the other characters, you know, the thing that the show is really about, to become stronger and better people. True, they didn't make this apparent enough as it took a small critic on YouTube to point this out, but now that seems to be all behind us. RWBY is now not only being given a reason to be pushed into the limelight, but is also making the choice to fight as she and the others head to Haven to find answers.
My beautiful Lolly has grown up so much. Grown up so much.
Now, one thing I'd like to touch on before we wrap this season up is the end credit scene. Not mine. You'll hate mine, but Volume 3's was pretty good. To be honest, the previous two weren't badly made, just poorly executed. With no context to either of them, or to who the characters they were bringing in were, they didn't really get us excited for the next season, nor did they give us any interesting subject to ponder. The first introduced villains out of the blue, and the second doesn't even matter anymore as Roosterteeth have given up and chalked it up to an irrelevant dream. However, in this one, a big revelation has been given to us, all without words or heavy-handed hints. Crow watching RWBY and then turning into a crow gets us to beg the question, how long? How long has he been watching over RWBY? Throughout the series so far, we've seen crows appear in various episodes. To name a few, there was the Flash in the red trailer, one scared off in the black trailer, one watching Yang strut her stuff in the yellow trailer, the sudden appearance of Crow in Yang's tail, the flag in the beginning of Volume 3, the crow outside Yang's window, and of course, poor little birdie. Now, some may or may not be him, and there may be others that I haven't mentioned, but that's not the point. The point is how nicely this end credit scene was. Not only adding intrigue to the previous volumes, but setting things up for the next. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to reviewing it. Some people say that the series goes downhill from here, and others say that it gets better and better, with the story becoming more and more complex. I guess the only way to find out is to see it for myself. And that's it, guys. Volume 3. It's had its poor moments, but it's had so many more great ones. It's brought the plot into a more active role in the story, delivered to us so many more cool action scenes, and gave us some more beloved characters. But sadly, took some from us as well. Kinda like how we were given a wonderful world with amazing characters whose fictional lives have shaped so many real ones, but one life left us as well. And it's all thanks to Mani. Though he may not be here with us anymore, I believe he does see what RWBY has become, how many people it has inspired, how many hearts it has touched, how many new stories it has created, simply by one man sharing his own. And I just want to say, thank you. Thank you to Mani, to Roosterteeth, to the fans of the show and my own. Thank you for continuing to be by my side as we got through the third volume of RWBY.
Truly, thank you, mi amigos.
You guys are awesome.
Too right.
And we love you.
No homo.
RWBY may have started out as something small, but like you guys, it's grown beyond anything that we would have imagined considering its beginnings. And while it's had its ups and downs, I wouldn't trade a moment of any of it. I'm Ricardo, the Cynical Critic. With me, no movie may be safe from criticism, no video sacred, no matter who made it. But we deserve it to ourselves to at least give them a chance. For like RWBY, they may surprise you. Because you have to admit, despite the fact that they are just fictional characters, to us, that didn't make them any less real than the man who brought them into this world. I'll catch you guys later. Toodles.
Hey, idiot! You left the door open!
Yeah, he's right. It's getting kind of cold.
Kanan? You locked the door, dude. Could you open it? Kanan? I'm still outside. Kanan? I don't have my keys. Or my phone. Kanan? Open the door, man! Kanan! Kanan! I'm still outside! Kanan! We live in Chicago!